Srimate Ramanuja. The whole world is in pursuit of benefits, and they are continuously engaged in the process of driving the benefits out. So it is a common instinct for all creatures, irrespective of their special stages, that they are ever engaged or interested in the pursuit of something good for them, the eradication of something bad. But you know that both are multidimensional and they take innumerable shapes and forms. If you want a benefit, then the craving towards the benefit, it becomes multiplied. New cravings come. Each and every stages, they stage in new significances. When developments are there in the society, one is by the exploding population, and the second is by the advancement of science and technology, and third thing is the friction between the relations of mankind in one side, and one side the so-called technicality of the modern society has united and approximated the members at distance. So we face everything in the society in different forms. One hand we see development, on the other hand we see at a underdevelopment and crisis. One area, people are willing to bridge Earth and Mars and colonize Mars, and the other area they are fighting with the immediate neighbors. So we can see this drastic extremity in all of the ends. Both of these things, they require only a single tool, that is known as executive wisdom. What is the thing required for everything? Executive wisdom, in different shapes and forms. I want to live. For living I should have a knowledge. Whether it is marginal, considerable, negligible, acquirable or already acquired, multidimensional, innate, transcendental, what may be the dimensions. So we need knowledge. And for knowledge, we need two things. One is learning and second is execution. So first thing is instructional methodology of wisdom. Second thing is executive methodology of wisdom. It is very much essential in all things. For example, I want to eat. But for you to eat, you need not have much of knowledge. We have just, that's what I told in the lecture. There are two types of eligibilities. One is basic or peripheral eligibility. And second thing is absolute eligibility. For a person to have food, what is the absolute eligibility required? That he should work hard, number one. The person should have some ethical moorings inside so that he can use his food in a very reasonable and rational manner and also divide and share the food to other needy people. So these qualities of compassion, the qualities of worthiness by a person's diligence or hard work, whatever we call, that is absolute eligibility for having food. But what is the peripheral eligibility for having food? You should have mouth to munch and you should have the intestine to hold it. You should have an appetite and digestion. This is what we want. But that is not the absolute eligibility. I have seen in lot of movies or dramas, whenever there is a clash between some lovers, immediately that person, bride's father, he will ask, what eligibility you are having to marry my daughter? He will say that I am a male. That is a peripheral eligibility, that is our eligibility, but that is not absolute eligibility. So, considering all of these things, several levels of knowledge have been implanted and implemented in the form of instruction and execution. I want to eat food means, I have already told peripherally, if I just have mouth, I can do that. But with mere mouth and stomach, can we do something? That should be agricultural process. With mere agriculture, can we do something? No, there should be horticulture and floriculture. If this real thing we can do something, no, we should require soil physics and mechanics. We should know water resource management and irrigation sites. We should know about pesticides, transgenic plants, seed culture, tissue culture, hybridization. So you need a lot of sciences. Even though you are not participating in the sciences, you are beneficiary of a scientific community who is working. So without knowledge, nobody can enjoy anything in the world. Whether that is your direct participation in the knowledge or you are a part and parcel of an environment where somebody is implanting something in knowledge, you should be having it. And also, whenever a person wants to marry, immediately you are at matrimonial wealth and health, immediately you should have some sort of knowledge of what is known as emotional control, what is known as matrimonial relation, what is the thing of fraternity, what is known as mind potential, what is known as fertility, what is known as internal parenting. So innumerable sciences are being prospered. You should understand whether you know or not, whether you do or not, you are amidst an environment where everything should be known and done. And anybody not knowing and still getting benefit, he is just enjoying an accidental grant which cannot follow on all occasions. If somebody gets some money, 2,000 or 3,000 in the pathway, just as a token of fortune on Sunday, daily he cannot go for searching the same thing, thinking that somebody would have missed some amount. It may be or may not be. So there should be, what is education? There are two things, what is vidya and what is prapti. What is education and what is fortune or enjoyment? They are actually different. Enjoyment, it may come or may not. It may come in different degrees. It may come to me or to him. It may come today or tomorrow. It may come in a small scale or in a considerable level. So vidya is, or education or knowledge acquisition is a methodology by which it can be given to all, it can be enjoyed on all occasions, it can be utilized whenever it is needed. So all time. Sarvakalika, Sarvajanika, Sarvavishayika, that is known as knowledge. So without gaining knowledge also you can say that my parents, they did not know anything, but they are happy. It is not that, it is accident. Accidentally they were happy. Number two, if they had known more, they would have been more happy. If they had got more knowledge, you will also may get more knowledge and you can be having perennial happiness in your lineage. So innumerable things are there. So first of all, I want to give a small preface that knowledge is very much essential, and excuse of that of people not knowing and getting benefits and people knowing not getting benefits is a lame excuse in the world. You should get proper acquisition so that everybody can get anything whenever they want for practical implementation. So where to get this knowledge? You know that a doctor is different from an engineer, engineer is different from an auditor, auditor from accountant, and also company secretary is there. Then even in the medical profession, a lot of people are you see the eye doctor, and if you show your tongue or something, he will send it to you. A stomatologist. Stomatology is the study of mouth-related diseases. So each and everybody, they have their own area of operation, depth of operation, disciplinary cleavages are there in various faculty. But we used to believe in our science that there is a common pool or reservoir of knowledge from which everything came. What the Western science says, there are innumerable systems of, there are two things. One is a mega force which is having a lot of small tributaries which are further divided into canals and pathways which we can use. It is known as Nadi Nyaya. It has come from a torrent force and then it is distributed with limited speed, then it is taken as the river directly flows into your agricultural field. What you can harvest? You can harvest only skulls and bones. You cannot do anything else. So there should be gradual limitation. Nobody is doing that, but gradually it is limited. Additional dams are also there, canals they are doing that. You should understand. Our system of knowledge is like that, Nadi Nyaya. And that system is like Samudra Nyaya. Lot of small things, they immediately join together and culminate and federate into a mega structure. What the Westerners say is, there is nothing known as composite wisdom. You should learn each and everything by interdisciplinary study. What we want to do is onto-disciplinary study in Vedas. That is, you take a common discipline, from there you can get secret doors and pathways to each and every art of knowledge. That is our system. What they are saying is, it is not auto in nature, but they want to create innumerable dimensions and pathways by acquiring each and everything, you can arrive at a common knowledge. There is no common reservoir of knowledge in West. Whereas our knowledge system starts with Vedaha. Sarvanu Vishayanu Vedayati iti Vedaha. Sarvebhyaha Vedayati iti Vedaha. Pratyaksha Anumana Atita Vishayanapi Vedayati iti Vedaha. Nissamshayatmakataya Paripurna Jnanam Vedayati iti Vedaha. So this Veda consists of a lot of definitions like that. So we believe and begin our knowledge system that there is a common pool from which these tributaries have come. Instead of thinking that these are the different parcels and they unite to form a knowledge which is unimaginable, it is not there. So we start with Vedas. Vedas means knowing everything. Knowing all dimensions, knowing all depths and all form of applications, and knowing something which is not easily knowable by our perception or inference tools, limited tools. What are the main divisions of Vedas? I have given a strong foundation to all of you about the acquisition of knowledge, about the status of Vedas in the foundation of knowledge. Now I am coming to the nearest point. The nearer point we have finished. Knowledge is the near point. Nearer point is the Veda. The nearest point is there are three divisions. One is Kala, second is Shastra, third thing is Vidya. The Vidya portion deals with a person's inner reservoir of divine ambience and gives us innumerable pathways by which we can contemplate on the divine self. Contemplating the divine self as a spirit, Atma. Contemplating the same thing as a spark, Archi. Contemplating him as space, Dahara. Contemplating him as the essence of the world, Madhuvidya. Contemplating the supremacy and sovereignty as a fact is Bhumavidya. Contemplating the same person as an instigatory or ignition tool, Vaishwanara Vidya. Contemplating the same thing as a pentacosmic ignition tool, Panchagni Vidya. Contemplating the divine person as the vital breath, Mahaprana Vidya. So these are all the innumerable methodologies by which the Supreme is contemplated. It is like heavy food. You know that what is known as cobra feed. A cobra, a big cobra, we are having innumerable things. The first thing is we take cooked food from plants, which cook by photosynthesis. It is cooked. Second thing, we reprocess and we additively process it in our kitchen and other areas. Second time it is cooked. Third time by means of crusher and other thing, we just smash the food. Moreover, while we are munching here, we create some sort of salivary juice which makes lot of assimilants to enter inside and to disintegrate the food into relishable and digestive parts. Moreover, it goes inside into the intestinal juice and gets well digested. Whereas a cobra, when directly it swallows a goat or something else, it does not go for cooking. Goat is not pre-cooked. It does not use any tools like to smash or to prepare, remove unwanted other things, etc. It does not have teeth, but it swallows, and whatever that is to be done by the fire, by the earth, by hands, by other tools of saliva and other things, everything is done by the intestine. So the intestine is having all the compensation mechanisms of other tools which are required for other living beings to consume such a big food. You will understand that. So any person going to that Vidya part, he is facing a Herculean task of making a heavy digestion. It is known as Mahashana. Amitashana and Mahashana. So that type of digestion is required only for higher causes, that is possible only by persons of higher caliber. So God has created Vidya Bhaga for people who are very much engaged in it. If there are rishis who are born from rishis, who are specially created with a sankalpa, it is not supragenesis. We don't believe that the Iron Age, Copper Age, Bronze Age, Stone Age, then people were with nudity, then suddenly he got some sort of shame immediately wrapped with leaves. So these are a lot of stories about invention of fire or something else. Even a lot of people are there in the tribal darkness who are very much feeling shame and wrapping them with leaves. We are also seeing some people in the History Channel or various other channels, BBC, or various other channels we can see in Discovery Channel. Even there are people even now who are still not feeling the shame and not having anything. That does not mean, that does not symptomatically mention the wholesome culture of the world. We are not against the civilization studies of the Westerners. We are not against the philosophy of anthropology that exists culturally and socially with those people. We are not against them. That is a partial view. That is a partial view, and that does not hinder that there were advanced sages who have been specially created, who were born with knowledge, not acquiring knowledge. There are two people. We are saying, if you understand, it is a very, very great phenomenon. That is the basic root of all arts and sciences. Number one, in advanced living beings like human beings, the human beings, they are born. Immediately nobody is learning. A born fish, it can swim immediately. A born goat, it can run. A born calf, it can jump. Have you seen ever a born baby, even a non-moving baby is very difficult to tolerate and foster. If the child also jumps and moves like that, then mothers won't prefer such ideology also. That is we are seeing all the other creatures, they are having immediate response or motion mechanism prompted in other creatures which is not done in human beings. Human beings are in advanced sense, you should listen the logical rational behind it. And it is something very subtle. Number one is, all the other living beings which are inferior in nature, they have a development process in other things like mental identity and other things. But immediately the physical response, you know that immediately it is there. Whereas in advanced human beings, as the knowledge development also takes some place, physical development also takes its own course of time. Animals, they get that. So inferior physical response is more than the superior physical response. We accept this. Likewise, there are two types of people. The superior people are born with acquired knowledge, and second type of people, inferior people, are born with gradual processing knowledge. As we are crawling, tottering, and then just moving and walking, can we say that everybody should do that? Or are they jumping and doing and writing? Can the same thing be inferred upon human community? Likewise, rishis are born with the process knowledge. Here, whatever you see as inferior people, they have immediate physical motion. The superior people, they have immediate spiritual response. They undergo the process of rapid acceleration of knowledge acquisition, not with literacy, learning letters, then starting with blabbering, then learning some language, then getting into gradual introduction into the knowledge and learning Vedas and everything. It is not a gradual process. The rishis are born with pre-processed, consummate, fullest presentation of knowledge. So these people only can digest the vidyas. And second thing, those who are in the intellectual level, that's why we share in the Shastras, there are three approaches for spiritual pursuit. One is the spiritual, second is intellectual spiritual, third is the mental or psychological spiritual. Anybody who are having the mind factor with more affinity, or we should understand that each and everybody will have an agent of response. If somebody's mind is more responsive, as naturally mind is more responsive, those who are having mind response, they are attracted with kalas. Those who are having intellect response to spiritual pursuit, they are attracted with shastras. Those who are having immediate, ready-made spiritual response, those people are imbibed into the vidyas. So we should understand. So for the common society, there is a kala by which they can go towards the intellectual development and spiritual thing. And vidya, it is meant only for the spiritually highly glorifiable people, and shastras are meant for intellectual exercises for promoting spiritual understanding. These things are there. So here I want to add one more thing. If kalas are just meant for this response, then kalas become inferior. Then kalas, they should not have been dealt with the spiritual pursuits. How they are great then? The ancestors, they answered that Uddesha, even though the kala, all of the things are having attractions, it does not mean that it is only meant for inferiors. That is one quotation I want to say here. It is very interesting. Where God is residing, there are a lot of shlokas. Shrutishu, yoginam kritaye, pratimasu aprabuddhanam. Vaishnava Sampradaya, we consider idol worship as the most superior way, and we give more response to that. Because we don't consider that it is human imagination, it is the simplicity of God that has made him to take that idol form. So we rever it more than any other things. Then when Vaishnavacharya, Yamunacharya was asked, why it has been told in the Stotra that Apratibuddhanam, Pratimasu means it is only for the idiots God is in the idol. Why it is told? Then Adam there, he added something. Api shabdaha atra sunchitaha. Apratibuddhanam api pratimasu. Even for the idiots, worst idiots, God is more prasannata. His ambience and his divinity is revealed in idols. So it is api. So kala is inferior means that says that even for inferior people, samanyanam api, nichanam api, manovikritanam api. So those people, those who are having wavering mind, those people who are simple and common, for them also kalas are used. It does not negate that superior people, they don't approach kalas. It gives you an ambivalent pathway that superior people have understood the componential value of divine arts, and they consider it to be a divine manifestation. Even the inferior people can go inside that. So the inferior people going inside the kala or the so-called fine or performing arts is also a special way or salient feature that it accommodates, that's the greatness of art, it can accommodate the person with the highest profile as well as the lowest profile. It can accommodate a person seeking interim solace and comfort as well as eternal peace. It can accommodate a person who is sensual and who is parasensational. It can accommodate a person who is having a momentary withstandingness, ending up to a person who is having a very great divine austerity and penance. So it can accommodate everybody. So it is having a very great alchemical mechanism of accommodating the differential or so what we call cleavageal extremities that exist in the society, that the worst and the best. So in that we have three methodologies I have already told, in which kala that is very much greater because that can give you personal benefit, social benefit, immediate benefit, interim benefit, eternal benefit. Divine benefit, you can give three things inside that. One is manushatva, second is vaishvikatva, third thing is vaidikatva or vishwatva or vailakshanya, which we call atmatattva. We can have a global view only by culture. That's what now they are saying, cross-cultural relations. Cross-cultural relation means it is relations between two cultures. We want to give definition to culture. See, we should understand before defining culture, are all the forms that exist in all parts of the world, or do they denote the same culture? Number one. Do they have equality? If it is equality, is it equality of acceptance, respect and friendship, or real value-oriented equality? You should understand, cross-cultural relations is a danger to the society. Because somebody is well grown, somebody is not grown, somebody is misguided, somebody is in the beginning stage. How they can all be admitted in the same school? But there is a social way of accommodating them with mutual respect. If we call Sarva Dharma Samanvaya, if we call Sarva Kalachara Sangama, that means mutual respect. Till you realize that we are great, till you realize that you are insufficient, let us respect each other. Don't denigrate each other by means of either verbal abuse or by ill-treatment or anything else. So let us use rationale and see that how we can work together to create a common identity in the world. What is common identity? To attract the persons and to place the persons within the ambit or within the orbit of, one is rest, second is relaxation, third is recreation, fourth thing is tranquility or peace, fifth thing is to ensure the same by him to others. So these are all the immediate benefits. So whatever which is greater or not, and whatever may be the difference and variations, let us create harmony in our own areas by our own methodologies. It is known as mutual respect. Both the interreligious harmony and cross-cultural relations, they can have unity only in creating harmony in their respective areas and mutual respect. They cannot really be mixed. Somebody is in cancer and somebody is having an infectious disease, somebody is having a different type of fever, somebody is having physical tiredness, somebody is having nothing but feeling boresome. All of the people can be given the same treatment? Not at all. So we should understand, culture has a definition. Culture has a definition. That's what I told in the seminar. If there should be, now we are having tube lights, if there is a lamp, electrical lamp is meant for producing more light. When light is produced, simultaneously heat is also produced. Heat suppression and light induction there is in tube lights. Heat induction along with light induction is in the bulb lights, you know that. So there are now, recently they are doing researches for suppression of heat and induction of more light. Naturally it also comes. When it is coming, you should understand, by continuous blowing of the lamp, the filament inside should withstand the heat and it should not be molten. It should not be dissolved next. So they understood that tungsten is the filament which is capable of bearing that heat. If somebody says that tungsten is the only thing which is having the bearability, is it our own prejudice towards the other elements or some special favor towards the tungsten? Tungsten is advocated because of its nature to withstand, not due to our self-identification or our appraisal. Like that, whatever we see, if you say some medicine for that, there are innumerable plant species in the world. If you attribute a special medicine that it is exclusively made for this disease, then immediately we have to accept that. We should not say that I am very much favorable to that. Like that, if you say Vedas, if you say our Shastras, if you say our art forms, that it is the only form of the purest system, complete system, technical and scientifically designed system. We are having the pride that we are born here, but the pride is not the reason by which we are justifying the greatness of our arts. You should understand. As those things are great, we are having the pride. As we are having our own pride, it has not become great or it is not established great in the society. So whenever we come to the society, we should first clearly make them understand that our knowledge is universal and all other knowledges are componential parts, are fragmental distillations of this complete structure, and we should understand it with an unbiased approach. Unbiased approach. There are two things. One is bias, second is chauvinism. If you see anything with bias, everything will be wrong. If you see with chauvinism, anything will appear to be great, like a magnifying lens. So we should have a nirmala vikshana, that which is devoid of any other defective tool of assessment or evaluation, then only we can realize that. So I want to say that each and everybody, how kala is created, how such forms are originated. There are three things. One is Swata Siddha. What is Swata Siddha? Each and everybody, they have their own outlet. Normally, human beings, not only this advanced civilization, I want to say, all beings, even the animals and birds, they have their own culture, they have their own song, they have their own dance, they have their own movement, they have their own recreation. And that is a very great research, I want to say, that what are the different forms of music and dance that exist in some human species? How do they dance? We know that only this nightingale or cuckoo bird will sing, and like a peacock and something will dance. We are thinking like that. And most of the things like ants, we think that they don't have music at all because they are not heard the sound. They are having rhythm. They are having rhythm. Rhythm in Sanskrit is an order. The same thing in English, they say that they come from the same word. Rhythm also is an order. It is an orderly presentation of sequences, what they call in English. The same thing is in the universal form, rhythm and satya, the two components. What is a rhythm? The unmanifested inbuilt cosmic regularity is known as rhythm. Manifested regularity in individuals or collective groups is known as satya. Manifested, satya. Unmanifested, universal becomes rhythm. So these exist in everybody. But only from higher people we can understand that. Knowledge is to understand from higher sources. If there are insects, for example, I have seen a lot of in the Animal Geographic channel, we have seen a lot of people very much interested in knowing about elephants, about mouse, about rabbits and other things, who are staying with the elephants for years together for learning about that, as if they have known about the purpose of human life, which is known as anthropoteleology. Anthropoteleology is the study of human purpose. As if they have completed everything, they will go for understanding elephants, etc. So, in our kala form, the kala is universal and our cultural form is fully mature. What is the benefit? It is fully mature. Each and everybody is having their own kala, which is called Swata Siddha. Second is known as Svikriti and Vyapti. Svikriti is acceptance, Vyapti is permeation. And we have seen that in innumerable areas by trade, by migration, by imitation, we develop some set of knowledge forms in highly advanced nature. That is also possible. In all areas, due to colonization, due to invasions, due to migration, and due to trade, and due to natural meeting, and due to voyage, like Marco Polo, you know that he had undergone a very great voyage, like Columbus. Innumerable people, they went on voyage, and wherever they went, they sowed the seeds of their own culture and also observed the culture that existed there. And third thing is Devadattam. What is Devadattam? It is given by God, it is revealed by God, and you are nothing but a receptor or container. We want to say here, all of our art forms are not Swata Siddha. Wherever we see in other places, they are polished. For example, they start with Swata Siddha, their innate ability. Second, by means of association with, there was a very great singer known as John B. Higgins Bhagavatar in Tamil Nadu. John B. Higgins was a very great singer. He came from America, learned Carnatic music, and he challenged the other people here. So this thing occurs also, Swata Siddha, naturally it comes. Then it becomes a Svikriti and Vyapti, by means of permeation or permeative collection, they used to observe these things. Then gradually a person can proceed into Devadatta, they can go to the stage. Whereas our thing is, it is essentially Devadatta, it is revealed by God. And second thing is, when the revelation is there, by means of our inner realization also, it is more decorated. The third thing is more observations are done by means of observations with other artists doing, other people performing. There are three things. One is vipaddhati, by observing different forms or methodologies of performance. Some brahmachari, those who are doing the same thing with us, from those people and their ideologies we can get a fusion. The third thing is acharya shikshana. By means of an acharya, more than the shastras, we can get learn these things. So first is scriptural derivation, preceptorial derivation, team spirit derivation, personal inspiration. All of these various things are there to more polish the art forms as well as to stuff it with more reliability, more relevance and more expansion with the need of the time and the style and the trend of the contemporary systems. So no art can be stagnant. Any art without developments or without progress or modifications is stagnant. But there are some modifiable portions. A lizard can cut off its tail and can see it regrown. The same rule does not apply to the head of the lizard, you should understand. If total rigidity is given to Shastras, it will not grow. It will not grow at all. But if total flexibility is given to Shastras, it will vanish. So we should understand where it should be modified and where it should be preserved. There are two schools of philosophy that exist in all art forms. One is absolute rigidity in the form of orthodoxy. Second is heterodoxy in the form of absolute flexibility. Our Shastra says that it is a golden rule that you can admit new things. To admit new things is an golden rule, so you are ready for modification. Where it should be modified, how it should be modified is the thing. So this is the preface for our Kalas and Shastras. How we can evince our Kala, the spirit of culture. And what is culture? Why they are known as culture? Agriculture means you know that. What is agriculture? It is a process. Agris means soil. It is a process by which the fertility of the soil is well handled by means of a plowing process of rejuvenating that fertility by manually nourishing it and also creating a proper receptacle of the fertility by means of putting a proper cultivable seed and giving all provisions that it grows into a perennial source of a replication by means of getting the tree, getting the fruits, getting the seeds, then growing. So it is a cyclic process, endless process. It is known as culture. So taking a substratum and qualifying it so that we can create an endless beneficial cycle is known as culture. So culture is defined as any form of knowledge or practice by which the fertility or truth or richness or any other content qualifiable can be utilized by the receptors in such a manner that it becomes endless. So perpetual shower of benefit that is extracted from a source of fertility to be fed with a compatible receptor is known as culture. It is a real definition for culture. So there should be somebody to receive, there should be fertility and the benefit should be perennial. What are the three components of culture? There should be richness. Second, there should be some receiver for the richness. Third thing, this reception should not end. To you, from that person, it should be endless. So I have defined simply what is culture. So what is that richness? In your own beauty means your inner spirit. You are having certain feelings which cannot be exposed in certain methodologies. There are three things. One is ignorance. I don't know that I am having the feelings at all. Second thing, I know that I am having the feelings, but I don't know what they are. It is ignorance, that is blindness. I am having the feelings, but I cannot specify what I am having and why I am having. The third thing is lack of exposure. I have a lot of feelings, I know what they are, but I don't have opportunities to expose them. I should expose those feelings at all. So human being is a blended mixture of innumerable specific feelings. What are the feelings? They are known as transit. What are the feelings? Known as transit. One is jada jada, manushya manushyetara, manushya manushyetara, manushya deva. There are three transits. It is very much great to understand all this concept before entering into art forms. One is we are just living beings. There is a small bridge. There is a small gap that exists between there is a gap between these two stages. from the stage of just a jada, a non-living or mechanical nature, towards a non-mechanical human nature. As a living being, I am different from other living beings. From animal instincts, I am having a differentiation. But everywhere, there is a connectivity. Transit. You have to cross it. And third thing is, from human life or normal life, I am having a transit to a celestial person. Celestial means divine person. So there are three transits. Asatoma Sadgame, Tamasoma Jyotirgame, Mrityoma Mritamgame. We have seen that. It is known as transit. Like that we are having three transits. From that of mere matter to conscious matter, mere consciousness to advanced consciousness of human beings, mere human being to a celestial person of a divine nature. You should understand, unless you get into culture, you cannot get these three transits at all. How many millions of years you will be in the world? You will be a composition of Jada, Ajada, Mriga, Manushya, Devya with improportionate proportions. This art form or this culture is the only way by which you can settle down the loans, settle down the hangings, settle down the excruciations of these three indeterminate stages which are preventing you to enjoy human resources, to enjoy perennial resources for your generations, to enjoy the same thing in a divine accord. All of these things are prevented by lack of culture. So God has created culture for understanding and enjoying the difference between you and a spiritless element, you and the other people, you and the divine kingdom. So these things are to be understood only by means of a culture. For the culture, the raw materials are inside. We are having the craving. Each and everybody's mind naturally craves for a culture. And what is culture which we call, okay, this is the culture of the land. They used to say about the culture of, there are two types of culture. Dance, other forms of arts, we call it as culture. Obedience, politeness, all of these qualities or characteristics, they are also called as culture. Why they are called as culture? Why here these are called as cultures? That's what I told in the seminar on Purusharthas. In Purushartha, they say that Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. In Shadvainis, they say that Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mata, Matsarya. What is that Kama? That is to be prohibited, it should be inhibited. But the Kama word that occurs in both the areas, whether it should be inhibited or prohibited, Purushartha or Vairi, that is different, this is different. That which is connected with Dharma and Artha, that which comes in that tradition, that should be inhibited. That which is a member of that group of Krodha, Lobha and Madhavata, that should be prohibited. It is very simple. Like that, culture can have two phases. One phase is known as ideology, second phase is known as methodology. What is ideology and what is methodology? To be honest, to be simple, to be truthful, to be affectionate. All of these things are known as ideologies. Why we cannot be honest? Why we are not able to be affectionate? Why we are not able to sacrifice and surrender? Because we have not seen our inner self. Whenever we are not in our real inner self and status, we are compelled by circumstances or emotions. Whenever the emotion comes, we feel like giving something. Then whenever we come to real practical life, we are not like that. Each and everybody torturing their father-in-law, mother-in-law or daughter-in-law, they will be shedding tears when they see similar circumstances in the teleserials. Even a person doing the torture, they cannot control the tears when they see somebody else doing that. When somebody else is doing that, when somebody else is doing the same torture in the teleserial, the persons become Sakshi, just a viewer. Then you become a Sakshi, just a viewer. All of your personal responsibilities and personal instincts are collapsed, collided, or at least suppressed. At the time you see yourself in a real form, then you see yourself in a real form, you feel that that is wrong. Second thing, whenever you see your real daughter-in-law or any other relations, at that time you are not Sakshi but Karta, you are an actor, wherein by your individualism, your alter ego, connectivity, everything comes for your rescue at that circumstance, where you could not follow the same emotional outburst which you represented or released at the time of seeing such a similar torture when it is done to somebody else, where you are just an evidential authority Sakshi. So you should understand, unless you become a Sakshi by means of some emotional concern or some occasional repenting, you cannot develop their qualities at all. The qualities are eternal inside us, but for construction of those ideologies, it needs a strong determination. Culture is a methodology I have already told, quality is also culture. Art form is also culture. Art form is the methodology for implanting culture, and qualities are the ideologies or ideological components of culture. You should understand. Patience, honesty, love, affection are the ideas. That's why they are known as culture. The same thing like honesty and affection can be brought by some inner exercises, some emotional exercises, by which number one, gradually you will become molten wax. Second thing, wherever you are not so sturdy, you will get that strength. There are two problems of human mind. Human mind becomes molten wax where you should show your strength. It becomes rock where it has to shed tears. So in this type of whimsical response or reciprocated response for circumstances is the problem of human life. Human life has three problems. One is over response of emotions. If they have to just shed 2 tears, they are used to cry for the whole life. If it is a serious laugh that they have to cry and feel for the whole life, they just cry for 2 tears and just they leave it. So they are negligent, they are over emotional. In some areas where it is not that suitable at all. And also in happy emotions, they feel sad or happier or happiest. In happiest thing, they become sad or happy or just negligent. So these are all the wrong practices of emotional response which is there. One is lack of response. Second is, which is known as a missed response or giving a wrong response to thing which is known as over response. The third thing is, we should understand that human beings, they become petrified in most of the occasions due to ignorance or due to fear or due to some sort of stagnation. They don't know what to do and they become silent and neutral. So in which they know and don't respond, in which they over respond or misrespond, in which they are petrified, at that time they don't know anything to do. Culture is the only way by which all the responses can be regulated with the real velocity. If any good thing is happening, how much goodness is that and how much we can be happy. If anything is bad, is it really bad, how much it is bad and how much we can be ODA. If there are lot of other petrified feelings, how to vivify our feelings. If there are lot of vivid feelings in our emotional nearness, how to petrify them and go to transcendentality. There are 4 arts of inner living. Exact response to miseries and happiness to its real deservingness. Happiness as well as sorrow. Third thing is how to vivify our emotions of social concern and inner concern. How to petrify our mean emotions and see that we can get transcendental inside the mind. This can be very casually, simply in a sweetened mode, it can be brought only by culture. So why this thing is known as culture? Because whatever the ethical qualities that are demanded by nature or by scriptures or by principles can be very easily brought out only by these things. That is why they know culture. If honesty is an ideology of culture, we can get that honesty by implanting real arts. Real art form makes a person to feel light, feel bright, feel tight, feel always pure, that is white, feel always accommodable to the society, feel that the inner joy, maybe they don't mind anything at all. And you should understand there are 3 things. One is desire in art forms. What is it? Desire in art forms. Everybody likes art forms, everybody listens to music. Why is that transformation? It is not there. Second is determination in music. Third thing is dynamism. This transformation will occur only people those who are dynamic in nature. We cannot say that all musicians, all dancers, they are very much compassionate, affectionate, knowledgeable. We cannot say like that because transformation requires a stage. But we can say that if the persons have not come to music or any other forms, they would have gone waste. Bad, mad and sad we used to say. Bad means wrong people. Mad means totally collapsed because of lack of compressions in the society. That is mad. And sad, depressed people. Bad means unethical. So there are only 3 options for human mind in a progressing well: to become mad, to become sad or to become bad. These 3 things can be avoided only by a cultural infiltration or a positive infection from culture. We can get these things. Further, we have the raw materials. What raw material you want? There are few raw materials. 5th raw material is what we call transcendentality. I want to say about the foundation of these raw materials and make you clearly understand what is that. One is motion. What is it? Motion. It is always there is a movement. Movement is of 2 types. One is subtle movement and second is physical movement. There are 2 things. One is subtle, second is physical or tangible movements are there. Making these movements, we used to produce lot of things. See, whenever we take some form of sounds. When sounds move together in two things. One is sthana, second is varna. If sound moves in the varna direction, it becomes pada, vakya, padya, gadya, kavya and gets into literature. If it moves into sthana, it becomes swara, raga, bhashanga, raganga, upanga, kirtana, kriti, bhajana, all of these things they come. It is a motion. If the dancing motions of the body, they are silenced, it becomes yoga. If the silence, the inner joy is given a motion, it becomes one more yoga known as nritya. If you silence the movements of your inner self, that becomes yoga. That becomes Ashtanga yoga. If the silenced joy, if it is given shape and exhibited through the body, it is known as Nrityanga yoga. And second thing, it is known as Vivarnana, when somebody is structure, somebody is a rupa. There are three things which we want to know. One is Shabda, second is Rupa, third thing is Chalana Chalana, which is known as motor. They are all the basic raw materials for all art forms. Chalana Chalana is motion. If you move, that is Chalana. If you move something else, that is known as Chalana. Whenever you are playing instrument, you are applying that instrument. Whenever you become the instrument, then you are realizing by yourself. So innumerable such systems are there. It is a wonder of understanding these art forms that it is composed of a very great finest tune of spiritual position. It is very much interesting to understand these things. So these major art forms, whenever it is Rupa Prakalpana, whenever you are interested in photon, there is a light, and light particles, forms and structures, you go for two things. One is painting, second is sculpting. If you go for Chalana Chalana, in petrification or actification, you go for two things. One is yoga and nritya. Then if you go for Shabda and Shabda Varnana by means of Sthana and Varna, you go for literature as well as music. So these are the three couplets of art forms or what we call culture, who consider to be the panacea for all diseases, panorama of the global art form and ambrosia of divine wisdom and evolution. So there are three art forms. Major art forms are three, having two divisions each. If it is mere sound, sound has two things. One is a scalar view. One is known as scalar view, and second is vector view. If you create sounds of different configurations within the same structure, without understanding the scales of it, it becomes bhasha, then sahitya, literature I already told. If you go over interest towards the scales of structures which are assembled with various other things known as omissions. What is omission? It is known as varjya in musicology, leaving some swaras. Sangama, mixing some swaras. Parivartana, alteration of swaras, which is known as bhatanga, music we can get. If you are interested in Rupa Prakalpana, formation of Rupa, somebody is having their own response, audio response, video response, audio video response is there. Like that, if somebody is having video response or photonic influence rather than the phonic one, that person will be interested in only Rupa Prakalpana. Such person will go for Alankarana Shastra, that is self-decoration, cosmetology, but those things are supplementary sciences. Main sciences are in Rupa, one is sculptor's work, second is painter's work. And the third thing is yoga and nritya. They are all dvandvas. They are all couplets in nature. Yoga and nritya are one and the same. But the only difference is whatever you do in a posture, which is known as achalana, that becomes sachalana in nritya. What are the differences that is there in yoga as well as nritya? There are 77 differences which I want to go to. Number one is, in yoga, all the bhavas are imprinted inside or impressed inside. In nritya, from an inner reservoir, all the bhavas are output. Second thing, the removal of vision, that is closing the eye, that gets concentration. Here, the exhibition of eye and optical language, it gives you more vision. The bending your knee and fixing it in a posture, that gives you explanation. The in Nati Shastra, not bending your knee and also giving proper way of laya. What is laya? Laya is the Sangama, that is the union of the order of the song. It is not only order of the song. Order of the song means that is Chatusra, Tisra, those things are really different. It gives you, Laya gives you three things. One is order of the song, that is automatically doing. Second is order of your bhava, that which you are showing. What is known as Nitya Shastra, somebody told, Netra Anguliyaka Padabhinaya Samyoga Nritya Vidiyate, in which I should speak. Which should speak? I should speak. There should be three people. One is the speaker. Second is the explanatory person who explains what that has been spoken. And third is the person who is the executor or who is the person who is going to produce the full structure of it. So somebody initiates, somebody proceeds and somebody completes. So Natya is a language where eyes commence the communication, where fingers give you the explanation, and the completion and taking you to that place and amalgamation or metamorphosis is given by the legs. So it is known as a Tribhasha, where three things speak in their own respective languages. So innumerable differences are there. Once we should organize a seminar on a comparative study as well as a differential calculus study of Nritya Shastra, that is Nrityanga and Yoganga Shastras. So it should be something separate. So we should understand, by doing all of these things, what we can get, what are the common benefits. If they are rendered apart from, now everybody is rendering with attention. One with mind and second with body. But intellect is fading. Spiritual response is not there. There are three types of art forms: Sabha Kala, Sannidhi Kala, Samaja Kala. Samaja Kala means that which is performed for getting more appreciation from the society, clapping and other things. And second thing is Sabha, to get honors and to get applauding, to get selection in various other competitions and things. There is no Sabha. Sannidhi means that which is done for our perfection, our solace, pleasing God and serving Him. So whenever this first thing that is known as Sannidhi, that is not there occurring in most of the kalas, whenever people are more concentrating towards the society, its appreciation, as well as big auditoriums, big institutions and their recommendations and observations, the way of understanding the spiritual response as well as the spiritual color of the art, that becomes faded. That is there in most of the art forms. So we should understand what is known as Adhyatma Nritya. There should be a special class or course known as Adhyatma Nritya. If it is not, then Nritya Vaibhava Prakashika, Nritya Shastra, Adhyatma Tattva Deepika. Like that we have to undergo some special training on that angle so that we can understand these things. And these art forms, what they give, the immediate benefit is physical lightness. Whatever they are doing, that's what I have strictly prohibited in my lectures. You should not go for these gymnastics and other things at all. If you do your domestic work, that itself is a gymnastic. That's what I told in a farmer's seminar which was conducted at Srirampur. I told these children, when they are asked by the parents to fetch a pail of water, to do some sort of domestic work in which they can support their own parents, they refuse. Such people will go to the gymnasium and lift pounds. Not ready to do a small pound lifting in the house, supporting the parents. Unnecessarily, they will go and lift a lot of things. Big rolls they will lift as if somebody has asked them to do. So you should understand that it has Salakshya. What is Salakshya Yoga? Doing exercise is doing anything with a purpose. You are walking in the road, what is the purpose? You walk for drinking water, you walk for going to do, there should be a purpose. Real exercise is a purposeful act, it is not mere act at all. If you are lifting any weight which is not carrying water to your house, which is not moving into your upstairs for purposes, whenever you go with intention, both your emotional quotient along with that of your physical exercise, they correlate together for bringing salubrity. Otherwise, if you do mere physical work, you will get only tiredness. If you stop that going to gymnastics or anything, you will be put overweight and you will get into nervous debilitation. Any person going to the gym, you go for 3 months and stop for at least 1 or 2 days, immediately you will be down. After 1 week or 10 days, you will get nervous debility. Lot of people, they exhibit also paralytical symptoms by overexposure to gymnastics and sudden release or sudden refrainment from these activities. You should understand these things. So, yoga should also be Sthiram Sukham Asanam. So says Patanjali. Like that in dance also, Sthiram Sukham Nityam. What is Sthiram? Whenever you are in a pose, there should not be three things. One is Sveta, you should not sweat. Second thing, you should not palpitate. You should not do that. There should not be any Shwasa Bhanga or anything, etc. like that. And third thing is, all of the physical gesture that you are putting, that should be clean and prompt. That should not have any motion at all. Any of the ornament, not even the hair tip should move. See, if you sit like an idol or a doll, and if your hair lock or anything, if it is immobile, that is possible. So it is a very great art you have seen in villages, in which a person will carry a coin here and put like this and swift it in such a speed that it will not fall down. And keeping like this, anybody can do. What is the special art there? By subjecting it to gravitational pull and by creating a counter force of such a velocity which can overrule the gravitational rate of pull. That is the gravitational rate of pull. Velocity is there. Anybody creating a greater velocity can overrule the gravitational pull, which is the basis for aerodynamics, construction of airplanes. It is there. Like that, there is a proper system where you should jump but nothing should move. You should bend and upright yourself where you should not palpitate. You should crush yourself but you should not sweat. So that is the divine art of dance. You should not come at all. So physically, Nritya Yoga is the best exercise. All the gymnastic centers where unidentified objects, like UFO, it is ULO, unidentified lifting objects. There is a lot of things are there. Guards, they are having it for regular use, as a part of their mission. But you are going somewhere else and you are lifting something which is not a part of your life at all. Is it the case? That is very wrong. This type of calisthenics is very wrong and unhealthy to composite health. So this Nritya Shastra that gives an idea how you can bring life to your body. Second thing is, persons can do Nritya and perform art. They say that everything or any form of work with Madhurya, it is not Madhurya, Mardava, Madhurya, Lalitya, all of these things are art forms. What is dance? For example, in dance, mere physical postures are not given. There are Kriya, there are Vastu, there are Bhava Suchakas. Kriya Suchaka deals with Gamana, Agamana, Milana, Uttapana, Uddharana, Shayana, Uttana, Asthana, Atikramana, all of these things are activities. They are not Kriya Suchakas. If you say something to be given, there are hundreds of thinking, there are hundreds of dimensional analysis for what you want, what you mean by giving. Giving by force, that is known as Bhava. Giving is Kriya. But the definition or description to giving is known as bhava. Giving by compulsion, giving by affection, giving for sacrifice, giving due to circumstances, giving as a code of conduct or any other simple observation, like at the time of Annadana they used to give for everybody. So whether it is a normal act, casual act, special act, salient act, or a sacrificial act, or an involuntary act, or an act of coercion, that should be there in bhava. And third thing is padartha, like Chandra, Surya, Anna, Pana, all of these things are padarthas. So Natya has a different language. It also has two things. One is Sabhashika, Abhashika. Sabhashika means that there will be a song, and when the song is sung in the respective language where they can understand, each and every pose, each and every position, each and every format that they curve, all of these things can be understood with the correlation of the song and its perfection. That is Sabhashika. But if the song is not there, if these people are doing something, they cannot understand. So this mudra, this abhinaya and this gati, mudra is the speciality of fingers. Abhinaya is the speciality of a person's netra especially. And gati is the speciality of any person's physical structure which is represented by the foot. So these three things, they convey something which is known as knowledgeable. But unfortunately I want to say there is a Shastra Paddhati, there is a Vyavahara Paddhati. We should follow only Vyavahara Paddhati in normal Vyavaharas. For example, those mudras which are there in Agamas, that is, this is Shankar, this is Chakra, this is Yoni, and this is Hamsa, this Surya Mudra, and this is Hamsa. These are the innumerable mudras in Mantra Shastra. In Mantra Shastra, the mudras they have different grade. In Vyavahara Shastra, you should have heard the Doordarshan news for the hearing impact. So they used to show some signs which are not suitable for dance. So in Vyavahara, what is the purpose? It is the purpose of making them understand the simple subject. And it is the duty of the dancer by the Abhinaya to make them understand the elite subject, elite enhancement of the same subject. For example, if there is a kusuma, if there is a flower, if normally you want to convey in Vyavahara, you should say like this. This is flower more than enough. And in the Natya Shastra, there are two things. One is Ekahastika, it is kusuma. Dvihastika, it is kusuma. It is sankuchita. It is vikasita. It is ardha sankuchita. It is aruna. It is kuncha. It is shushka. This one is shushka. One off. Innumerable things are there. Once there was an opportunity where I was about to describe about what you mean by water. So there is Pralaya Jala, Salila Jala, Tatagar Jala, Kupa Jala, Manda Jala, Tivra Jala, Mahakalvola. Innumerable occasions are there. A person is just doing the same plavana in the swimming pool. While doing the plavana, how we can bring plavana? There are two major understandings. Very great confusion in Natya Shastra. One is, for the same thing, there are innumerable mudras. For the same thing. If you say like this, it is thought. It is also wave. It is also movement. It is also dance. It is also somebody's proceeding. It is also progress. Everything is done by that. Ubaya hasta agrachalanam pragatihi prajwalanam udhritihi dhritihi samruddhihi kallolam snapanam. Innumerable things are there. You can show a lot of things. But how to differentiate? But unfortunately, listeners, they don't know anything. Most of the things are covered by the external appearance of the dancer and the ornaments, the song and other things. They fill up the blanks so that the person's delicate or exclusive understanding of dance need not be projected towards the people. According to Shastras, anybody in the old age or the classical sabha or the auditorium, those who are sitting before you are at least 100 times knowledgeable than you in world sabhas. But now that is not, it is a feast to eyes. It is an event of time passingness. It is an event of peripheral appreciation. So that has degraded the standard of those people, those who are doing the dances. Unless they command inspiration from the people, you should have done like that, more than that. That should be an appreciation. So there is also some sort of appreciation which is known as imitation or imitative appreciation. What is that? If they don't clap the hands, they think that they are idiots. So they think that if I don't clap the hands for that, they will think that I don't know anything about that. So at least to make myself to be a very great appreciator in dance, I should clap my hands. If somebody claps the hands, they should see some persons who are in the first row. And any other emotional outburst should be immediately imitated. Otherwise they will think that they are not proper appraisers or rasikas. So these are the positions of imitation that lies in modern society. Nobody can appreciate the real spirit, the real blood of the people, by which it has failed to cultivate reality, perfection and completeness in the dancers or in the singers who are performing there. So it has catered to the degradation of both the people, both the spectators as well as the performers. So it should be given a very great renaissance by means of our academic training and new pursuits. So whenever you call something, Vyavahara Bhasha is you want to make somebody understand. Where it is being Badhira, Mukha, Mauna, Dura. If somebody is at a distance, you cannot shout. You show some signs to him. That is Dura. Badhira, deaf. Mukha, dumb. Mauna. At the time you are observing some Mauna, some sort of silence. As an austerity you are observing. At that time you will show some signs. Those signs are very much connected with the matter. That is also of three things. One is Samipa. Second is Nirdesha. Third thing is, it is very much etymological, Nairuptika. What is it? Etymological is Nairuptika. If I say Krishna, all the dancers will say only this. Because if you say Krish means the world, Na means Ananda. The person who gives Ananda to the world is known as Krishna. So what is the Naisargika Abhinaya for the word Krishna? Means you should have done what is Vishwa. There are three types of Vishwas. You should understand about Vishwa in three types. One, that which is composite, having everything. Second, that which is ever rotating. Third thing is that which is very big. So we want to produce these three things. Composite means that has everything. Second, it is very big. The universe has only three representations. Only the enormous size. Second is the panorama of multitude and pluralism inside. And third thing is its rotation and revolution. So in Vaishvika, which is the mudra for that, this is the Vishwa. The same thing if you do, for example, if you say like this, what does it mean? If you say like this, what does it mean? It can denote Prayoga Chakra. It can denote Brahmana. It can denote Alasya. It can denote a person's physical fatigue. So there are innumerable explanations for that. Ayasa, Prayasa, Manda, Swapna, Vimukta, Agati, innumerable explanations for that, for this small thing. It is also Prayoga Chakra. And for example, according to Shastras, real Prayoga Chakra is this mudra. This is Prayoga Chakra. But if you say, whenever you say Chakra, everybody is doing like this. Chakra should rotate. Why your fingers are rotating? They should not rotate at all. Huh? And Alai Paide is a song. I have seen thousands of people doing that. Alai Paide means, what does it mean? That it is flowing. Everybody say Alai Paide. And Alai means that is correct. Waves are correct. But Paide means it should flow inside. So Alai Paide should not be like this. That is, there something is flowing outside. It is not like that. Alai Paide. So they should say that the waves are getting inside, thinking of Krishna. But I have never seen in my life somebody who has performed like this. So we should take a song and each and every step should be performed with utmost precision. So it is a very great art. And I wish that we should publish an encyclopedia of Netra Bhava. But nobody can see that in ancient time, you know that somebody will be doing the dance. Somebody else will be doing the dance. And people will be surrounding them. So that they can see the Abhinaya. Here, unless you put a special focus or television for the Netra, you cannot understand Netra Abhinaya. Subtlest motions. In cinema, we are seeing subtlest motions. In especially Western films, if you see somebody, all the various dialogue that you are speaking for 20-25 minutes, shouting, doing and everything, will be showing a fraction of a second in the English film. Here in Tamil film, it will be more emotional. Oh, my son, you have gone, you have done everything, they will show for 20 minutes. In English film, just two droplets and some sort of rigidity in the face. It can compensate what it has been given in your emotional picture. So it is not a subtle way of presentation, it is not a presentation in depth. So within 2 seconds, you can present the gravity or the depth that can be created by 20 minutes of lamentation or emotional eruption that you can easily give. That is there. So, Netra Abhinaya, I thought of publishing an encyclopedia which can include 66,000 bhavas which can be shown in Netra. One is Vijugupsa. We don't like somebody, we like somebody in which there is achadana. We like somebody but we cannot expose. We don't like somebody, we cannot expose. But even if you hide, the eyes will say that. How you can bring it in the eye and bring it in the photo. And third thing is Viparita Karani. You don't like anybody, but you should show as if you are liking. According to Ashwavidya, the science of tears, they say that if you cry by real emotion, the tears will come from a different direction. If you cry by means of any other artificialism, like glycerin, it will come from a different direction. By means of ecstatic bliss, it will come from a different direction. Smoke, onion, garlic, etc., it will come from a different direction. So, it does not mean that everybody was saying before 20 years or 30 years, we have seen some Marathi or Hindi or any movies, whenever they talk of unity, they say that all blood, all are appearing to be red, and what is the difference between us? At the time, they were not knowing about the blood groups. We all are one, because our blood is red. There was a statement in all movies, now they have stopped because they have understood that there are different groups. Like in tears also, there are a lot of tear groups, there are originations, etc. So this Abhinaya, I want to give as it is, this is the first lecture, introductory lecture, in the series of lectures, hundreds of lectures that I am going to give in the same topic. So it is not complete. So here, Netra Bhava, first of all, there are different types of bhavas. One is Buddha Bhava, second is Vyakta Bhava, second is Vyakta Bhava, third is Maharga Bhava. All these various bhavas, which are semi, which are subtle, which are tangible, which are explosive, which are over explosive, all of these bhavas, they should be listed, and some high speciality is to be practiced for some students, and that should be taken as video and photograph, and that should be given as a token of proper training, how to bring their Abhinaya. And you should understand, see, if you want to talk with somebody over phone, they should be also having the same mobile. If they are having grinder or mixing some other device, or if they are having a deaf drum inside, how we can communicate? Real value of music and dance can be appreciated only if similar knowledge is invested in the listeners and viewers. If they are mango idiots, and how far we can just to propitiate and satisfy them, and whatever you do or not, that makes no difference. If somebody is not really understanding or relishing or appreciating, if your mere movements are more than enough for appreciation, why do you have to strain ourselves? So that has created a neglect in the society. Whether I do for 3 hours, whether I do for half an hour, whether I do with subtlest motions or simple motion, I am going to get the same appreciation, same salary and same recognition, same payment. Why I have to strain myself more? So this should be the present situation which has catered to the degradation of sense and sensation inside the music or dance industry. So in the mudras, in the Vyavaharika, what is your purpose? Just to make other person. That is known as, there are 3 things. One is Avabodhana, second is Udbodhana, third thing is Prabodhana. And whenever you are asking this, it can be also bifurcated. It can be said that small children used to keep their thumbs inside the mouth. It may be a mudra for that also. And this has innumerable things. In Vyavaharika they say that it is Jaya. But it is known as Veera Mudra. In our things it is known as Veera, it is known as Dhanush, it is known as Viveka, it is known as Sadhana, it is known as Dhriti, it is known as Gambhira, it is known as Vrata, it is known as Tapasya, it is known as innocence, it is known as Angushta Matra. This denotes about the inner contemplation of Purusha. So it also says about Purusha in Vedantic language. But whenever you call here in Vyavaharika, they say that it is water or thumbs up or something, they may say. They cannot understand these things. So if you want to get water from a person, what you will do? Go and get water. Whenever you are saying like that, you see, is that Madhurya? Madhurya is sweetness. Sweetness can be in words. How it can be there here? It can also be sweet. Movements can also be sweet. That's why we say somebody, if you see somebody and say that if they hear some word, they say that it is sweet. You see somebody who was so sweet. They say that anything that is with the perfect order and attraction and orderliness, what we call orderliness and attraction, that is very beautiful, and the beautiness is what we call sweetness inside. And what is the Madhurya in Natya Shastra? It is Mardava and Lalitya. Mardava means softly you have to do. Lalitya means systematically you have to do. Go and get water is not having either Mardava or Lalitya. It is very harsh. So whenever to go, we have to say, this is a mudra. Whenever you move like this, it is known as chalana. You should lift these fingers to say that they have to walk. Move and walk and reach. There are 3 things. One is prasthana, second is gati, third thing is prapana, and fourth thing is prapti. So we have to say that you have to go. Then you have to go, you have to just immediately move. Like this. It is known as yatna. Second, you have to fix your feet. Then you have to reach that place. Everything is given in this. You should see that the fingers are also moving and the person is moving. Go and bring. This is also of different types. It is svikara, it is tambula, it is sataschinna, it is mahargadyana, this is tattvamula, innumerable things, philosophical and other things are there. And also in Anushtana they say it is for prashana. It is for ashana, it is for taking prasad also, they will do that. It is also prashana, ashana, and it is a nalina form of performance for snana and other things. Abhyangana used to do. See, you are taking water, you are taking oil bath, you are applying paste. All of these things are not similar. Oil is more consistent and paste is more thick and soap is more hard. Whenever you use a soap, you cannot say like this. Then it becomes Vyagra Mudra or something else. You cannot say like that. In normal Vyavahara, taking a soap, if you do like this, any small boy can understand that you are using a soap. It is in Vyavahara. But in Natya Shastra, it is not so. If there is something Dhrida, that which is there, you should do like this. This is known as Lalita Grahana. You should do like this and it is known as lepada. It is snana. If it is a paste, you see, this is a mudra for paste. And it should be done like this. Now this. If somebody does like this, it is totally dishonor to Natya Shastra. It should be like this. But nobody can do this like this. Immediately the hand goes only like this. Whenever you start rubbing, whenever you take bath, according to the science of beauty, they say that you should take bath only like this. You should apply any powder like this because that prevents anti-aging. But the natural impulse of human movements is we used to take bath only like this, the opposite direction. So there are a lot of opposite behavior inside that. If normal way we are having opposite behavior, how we can assure about the dance behaviors and movements in a proper way? So dance behavior is a very proper way of understanding. Any person understanding the root, spirit, melody and essence of Natya Shastra, they can maintain their inner as well as outer beauty and handle things in a very fantastic way. So go and bring. It is known as anayana, is to bring a padartha. If it is a drava padartha, then it becomes kumbhika. If it is semi-consistent, it becomes like this. Then if it becomes a paste or anything applicable, it becomes this. If it is a drida, it becomes like this. So small movements of this and this has created everything very simple. So this is Anaya. And Pana, you should not show like this. There are different types of Pana. One is Pipasartha Pana. You are very thirsty. At the time you want water. So water means this is a symbol which is normally given. You should understand. If you say container, the content is also implied. If you say the container, the content is also informed. Like that, if you say like this, Vartana, a patra, that is in Vyavaharika Bhasha. And Ekahastika, we have to say this is Vartana. And in this Ubhayahastika, this is known as Vartana. This is known as Gata. This is Vartana, this is Gata, this is Kumbha. So each and everything is actually different. So you have to bring this water, means this is known as Achamana Tirtha. This is known as Prashana Tirtha. This is known as Snana Tirtha. This is known as Mangala or Prokshana Tirtha. This is Prokshana Mudra. Then you show the same thing here, it becomes Prokshana. If you show the same thing here, that becomes Danta. Elephant. So innumerable things are very proximate and very minute you have to observe. So how to go and bring water. But in Natya Shastra it is required. If you do it in the normal way of life, it becomes ridiculous and things will happen only once in a week and you cannot lead a better way of life at all. Like that, it is equally ridiculous if you perform Laukika Achara in a dance stage. If you perform, most of the people I have seen, all of their acharas are Laukika Achara. Go, come means whatever they say to their family people very normally, they do the same Laukika Mudra. But only thing is with a different dress and with makeup they are doing it. So, in a Nartaka Vesha, they are doing Laukika Achara. So, this is ridiculous. That is also equally quixotic to follow Laukika Achara or colloquial seminars in the dance stage, which is there for something more than our Avabodhana known as Prabodhana. What you are understanding by Prabodhana? Very simple. Who is going to understand? There are three understandings in Avabodhana, Prabodhana and Udbodhana. It is an interesting subject. There is no end for the subject at all. They are talking about one or two. There are 84 lakhs of mudras in Natya Shastra. They say that when we are going to end. So we should do only one thing is to dance. To dance for knowing about dance. That is the only way possible. What is Avabodhana? Avabodhana, who is going to understand? The other party is going to understand. Who is going to understand? If I convey something to a person that I want a water, who is the person who has to understand? The other agent who is going to do the work, he should understand. That's why it is known as Avabodhana. Whenever I am doing inside a dance stage, my inner spirit should be given the exact message. For example, I know, somebody asked, you have seen lotus. You know the form of lotus. Without showing anything, you can think about lotus and bring that. And all the people sitting there, they know what is lotus. Why we have to show mudras? Parichita, Jnada, Suprasiddha Vastuna, Mudra Pradarshanam, Atma Darshanaya. It is a very wonderful concept, and at least even 30 years of practice people, they cannot understand these principles at all, because it is far away from the normal way of conventional learning. Suprasiddha, very popular thing. Parichita, acquainted. Jnata, already heard and known. Something I have already heard and known. Something I have acquainted. Something is very popular, everybody knows. If it is already known to me, and everybody knows it, and it is very popular also, if it is a known thing, why you have to exhibit something through mudra? Mudra is meant for just showing something which is not there. If it is murali, why you are showing like that? And at that time you can show something else. It is known as Natya Vistara. What is known as Natya Vistara? What is Natya Vistara? They want to say lot of messages. They want to say lot of messages in the same thing. But in the same stanza they cannot bring all messages. That is why Avartana is done. What is Avarti and Avartana? The same line is repeated 10 or 20 times, and within the 20 times of rendering they will give the fullest message. It is known as Vistara or Prakhyana or Prakhyana they used to say. It is Prakhyana, within the time given they wanted to say something. For example, if Krishna is very mischievous, Ma Vallakadum Ma, that is it. So it is very difficult to manage this Krishna. That's what they want to say. When they are repeating 10 or 20 times, their sufferings and their personal problems and their problems in the domestic arena due to influence of Krishna and torture and various other things, whatever they wanted to convey, that cannot be conveyed in a single stanza. So 20 stanzas they have to take, for which they will complete everything, etc. So there should not be repetition. It is repetition of Vakya, but it is not repetition, it is renewal of Bhava and extension of Bhava. It is very much essential. So Natya Shastra has no end at all. In Natya Shastra, I have already told, already known, acquainted and even popular things. Why they are given mudras? Because Atma Darshanaya. For your Atma, lotus is entirely different from what you see as lotus. For example, you are getting the blood or the energy only from Idli Dosha and other things. So if somebody is in loss of blood, can you infuse the Idli Dosha, Puri, Chapati and other things? That should be given the particular mode. So your eyes and your normal mental platform relishes everything in the form of visible objects, like lotus. So for your Antarika spirit, the inner spirit, unless you show like this, it cannot understand be a lotus at all. It is Atma Darshanaya. So unless you know lotus, everybody knows lotus, and showing a real lotus is more attractive than showing your fingers. But in spite of that, whenever you move your fingers with the Bhava like that, there is an inner fountain which creates a very great energy, which creates the same configuration of the lotus inside. It is happening in subtlety, which cannot happen with even the real lotus. We think that we are doing some false objects or falsification of objects. It is not there. The false object is that which is existing in the outer world, the real inner spirit in Natya Shastra that gives the real shape to your inner soul, which is spiritual understanding, where the person gets the benefit. It is known as Prabodhana. The external objects are more explained and amplified in Prabodhana. In Agama Shastra, Uddbodhana. It is for making the deities to understand and give. Chakra means the deities, they understand chakra. If you say like this, crackers or something, it is not the deity's language. So chakra in normal world is like this. Chakra in Natya Shastra, there are innumerable chakras. Only Shakara chakra, you have to do like this. It is known as Shakara chakra. There is a wheel, that is known as Shakara chakra. Ajna chakra is there. You have to do like this, it is Ajna chakra. It is Ajna. Vama Parivartanam, Dakshine Samavaranam, Chakra Prapurnam, Angushta Prayogaha, Mushti Darshanancha, Chakra Ajna Vidiyate. This is not Chakra Ajna. We should know this chakra. This is Ajna chakra. Dharma chakra is there. How to call Dharma chakra? It is very difficult. How we can, there are a lot of things which you can explain only in words. Or you can show the mudras, but other people they cannot understand. You know what is Dharma? This is Dharma. This is Dharma. You know what is Satya? How you can call Satya? What is Jnana? Directly you cannot call the products. You can call the reservoirs or centers. For example, can you show something known as smell? You cannot show something known as smell. You can show only smell is known as, it is a tattva. You cannot show it in mudras. You can show the karana or kriti. The kriti is known as smell. Karana is this. You can show the nose, which is the object of smell, or you can show the act of smelling, but smell cannot be shown at all. So dharma is complete, complete is purna, purna is mushti pradarshana. So that is known as dharma. That is dharma chakra is this is known as dharma chakra. And there is kala chakra. They used to call this as kala chakra. This is known as kala chakra. And if you say this, it is known as pijana mudra. If you say like this, it is known as nisheda mudra. If you say like this, it is nivarana mudra. If you say like this, it is anugraha abhya mudra. So a lot of things are very proximate to each other. So in Vyavahara Bhasha, you want other people to understand. In Prabodhana Bhasha, your inner spirit is understanding. In Udbodhana Bhasha, you make deities to understand and you establish divine relation. So chakra in Vyavaharaka, and in this chakra also there is Prayoga chakra, Dharma chakra, Kala chakra, Prana chakra, Tattva chakra, Yoga chakra, innumerable chakras are there. You can call like this. This is also a chakra. Because it is not Tattva mudra, it is not Padartha mudra, it is Kriya mudra. Chakra is whole like this. It is known as Grahana. It is known as Grahana. You should understand, even if the Prathamanga is not understood, by Dvitiyanga and Tritiyanga, you can denote the Prathamanga. Chakra is a rotating object. If you show something like this, it becomes Chakra. That is Prathamanga. Instead of Chakra, if you show rotation, then that becomes Dvitiyanga, the act. Third thing is the rotating thing is holded by you, then Grahana becomes Tritiyanga. If you show the third thing, it is implied that the first thing is shown. Anya pradarshanena prathamika pradarshanam bhavet. Everything cannot be. For example, Krishna is a very beautiful person. The world, the whole world is known as Vishwa or Krishna. Or Krish is the real establishment that is there as to the etymology of the term Krishna that denotes the world. So we should say that this is Vyapaka. This is Vishwa. We can say two types of Vishwa. One is here, second is here. So you can, from you can create. And in Anvil also there is some other mudra. This is known as Vishwa. It is known as Vishwa. It is known as Vishwa. Aparyaptam anandyam mandarena pradarshitam vishwam syat. So never ending movement like this. It denotes Vishwa. Whenever you are denoting, it is known as Gambhira mudra. At the time of Gambhirya, you should not show Lalitya. At the time of Lalitya, you should not show Gambhirya. Whenever you show Vishwa, that is known as Gambhirya Pragati. In Gambhirya Pragati, you should not show Lalitya, etc. In Lalitya, you should not show Gambhirya, which is very much interesting. This is known as Gambhirya, it is Vishwa. Naka Akarshana. Na means Akarshana, one who attracts everybody in the world, means one who attracts. Attracts means 5 types of attractions you can see. See, this is known as attraction. It is known as Akarshana Mudra. This is known as Akarshana Mudra. And whenever you just aim this at any person, it is known as Akarshana. Yes. Then you have to say Krishna. Krishna. How we can say that? First we have to say Krishna. This. Krishna. You have to complete this mudra. Like this is the word Krishna and it is Na. That is the etymological meaning for Krishna. First identity. Second identity is that he is wearing this Mayura picture and other things are the external things are there. And common thing is this. Everywhere Krishna, Vasudeva, Gopala, everything is this. They don't know anything except that. And in also Venu, there are innumerable Venu. There is Agra Venu, which is called Mukha. This is also there. But people will mistake. People are not so knowledgeable to understand this. They think that Krishna is an Araswaram player or something else. They cannot understand that. It is Mukha. And then you should understand it is Aklishta. Aklishta Venu means Krishna can play in one hand. It is also there. It is also there. It is also there. Innumerable placements are there. There are 12 Venus. There are 12 mudras for Venu, where he plays how much it is there. Whether he plays for animals, whether he plays for gopis, whether he plays for the devatas, it differs. There are 12 mudras in Venu. So a Tattva Vichara should be there. If you are talking about Krishna, you should understand what is Venu, how many types of Venu playings are there, what are the positions there. If you say Krishna and Venu, then the real etymological meaning is Krish and Na. The person who gives. That is also Akarshana, automatically. But if you want to say that it is pull to give more punch, then it is Krishna Ni Begane Baru. This is the mudra. And this is one set of mudra. That should be at least 18 sets of mudras in 18 repetitions. So Vyavaharika is actually different, and Natya Nritya Shastra is actually different, And Paramarthika, the Yoga Shastra, they are having mudras, and in Agama Shastra, they are entirely different. And Netra Vinaya also, you should understand tattvas. If you say about Krishna, you should understand everything about Krishna and try to present the composite view in that particular play. It should be that. And second thing is, you should be also capable of what is the pada. Somebody used to ask, what is the role of this feet? How I can bring some sort of things from that. Lot of other things you can see, whatever the eyes cannot say, fingers should say. Whatever the fingers cannot say, that the legs should say. Whatever the legs should not say, the song should say. Whatever even the song would not say, the spirit should say. Whatever that could not be produced even with the spirit, the listeners and viewers, they should understand by their own intelligence and divine submission. This is the proper methodology of enjoying musical dance. So, I wish and bless all the most fortunate listeners here to divulge the most esoteric lineage messages of the systems of divine trance, which we have understood. What is dance? Dance gives you three things. That which is not moving, that is moving. That which is moving is put into silence. That which is moving irregularly is taking a strong direction towards a goal of pursuit. So Natya is agamana, gamana, 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 vigamana, gamana vidya. That which is not moving, our parts are moved. That which is moving, mind, other things are moving here and there. So that becomes stabilized. And lot of things are moving somewhere here. So unorganized, those things are regulated. That is known as Natya. And anybody, there is known as Sukshma Chalana. What is it? Sukshma Chalana. By sitting here, by thinking others dance, by seeing somebody dance, or thinking about the already seen dance. Vikshana is seeing somebody dance. Smriti is thinking about dance. Vismrti or Vishishta Smriti is thinking about the dance that they have seen already. Which they have performed already is Swanubhuti. So with the Smrti, Vismrti, Vikshana, Shravana, Kalpana, Uha. What is Kalpana? Imagination. Uha is inference. So with all of these things, I want to say, if you are sitting and doing something, you may not be moving. There are three types of chalana. Chalana, prachalana, abhichalana. Chalana is just movement. Whenever somebody is singing a song, they will be moving their mouth wider. The listener need not widen the mouth. And if all listeners they are widen the mouth, the singer will be frightened and he will be reluctant to continue the show. So they will also do some corresponding motions. If they are sitting like rocks, that is also a proper way of insult and improper way of response. So we should understand they should also have some chalana. Prachalana, abhichalana. Any person casually going for that is a normal movement. If any singer is singing like this, like Janaganamana, then that is not an art. But if the singer is doing joust of gimmicks so that he may jump on the percussion instrument fellow and cause him some accident, that is also all behavior. So that should be a decent way of movement. That should be a disciplinary way of movement should be there. In dance also, anybody seeing, hearing or thinking of the dance, they should have parallel motion or movements. It is movement of head, Shirachalana or Kampana. It is Kanta Chalana like this. It is Pada Chalana, Kara Chalana. Similar responses are produced here. So I want to say, even the dance not knowing people, they can go for Prachalana and Chalana. By means of which they can get the benefit of the risky dance of the dancers without going into the risk. So dance is for all. Anybody dancing, normally we used to say, if somebody dances, they will be restless. But dance is the best way to get into rest. Dance means it is an unfixed motion of a person in various places, going here and there. But that creates fixation inside the mind and strengthens the power of determination. So for kids, dance is preferable. If dance is removed from the kids syllabus, the other option is to go for some other dance. That's what I told in a seminar, that we can learn modern dance and modern music easily. If we pour cold water inside the person's head, immediately you will get modern music. Chill water should be poured on the head of the person, you will get modern music. Hot water should be poured on the feet of the people, immediately modern dance will come. So this is what I have experienced in most of the occasions. Without that they imitate the same thing as if they have experienced that. With an imagination, I don't know. So you should understand, the replacement of dance is heavy exercise. self-immolation and torturing, solitude, just a material mundane life, are inferior art forms where you collapse your moral as well as your physical structure. These are the other alternatives available in the world. If you want to get a better opportunity, you should go inside the forest and go for penance. That is a better opportunity. So, dance is most preferable. Dance you need not perform in stages. There are Aikantika, Pratyekika and Vyavasthapika. Vyavasthapika is for all people, those who are organizing us. Pratyekika is to dance before few limited people. Aikantika is there is nobody except God and us. Even though you are not going to dance before thousands of people, you can dance before God. Even though you are not ready to make a very good abhichalana, you can make prachalana and a chalana. Even though you cannot do all of these things, you can appreciate dance and at least try to learn about the divine dance system, etc. So, dance, if it is implemented in human life, most of the pregnancy cases will be easily solved. Most of the people's arthritis, nephritis, uritis, spondylitis and various other disorders will be totally uprooted. Most of the person's anti-aging and depression, suicidal mentality, everything will be collapsed. And each and everybody's performance in athletics as well as computer education and economics and occupational therapy and all other modern things also, mere dancers, they can deal with anything with more confidence and success. If dance is there, there will be harmony inside the minds of the people and build strong relations within the domestic and social arena. Anybody dancing will become closer to God. They will embrace God so quickly, provided that they have a divine pursuit and lack of knowledge about any social reputation or honor. Such a person, those who are bright with the society and bright with the God, such person will very much reach the God than by any other metamorphosis or any other metaphor or metaphysical experiences through yoga. So we have initiated the cultivation ceremony of the divine dance dynamism by means of getting into a special voyage through the Vedic perspective. I hope that there will be a series of lectures in future, and this should be, as it is a demonstrative act, and this should comprise with photos of finger movements as well as leg movements, leg positioning, then neck positioning, then Ghati Chalana, which is the positioning and movement of the hips, as well as it should deal with Netrabhinaya as an exhaustive study, at least covering the 66,000 of Bhavas in their substantial subtlest studies. So it is a very small beginning for a very great basic transformation that is going to exist in the world, and I am happy that even if we are limited, our resources are unlimited. Even if we are countable, our project and aim is uncountable. Even if people, they are very peripheral and they are in the beginning, they have started the journey to reach at the end, and also providing the same benefit to the world to create harmony, not only dance as a tool of recreation and self-rejoicement, but as a tool of universal harmony and betterment, which is the solution very much needed for the society in this abnormity and its causal catastrophic nature that exists in the society. So as a tool for divinity, as a tool for social development, as a tool for self-stabilization and promotion of our culture, if you want to attract everybody as a solution to the problems of the West, dance should be taught. But dance is taught as an ornament, as an instrument, or sometimes it is also a detriment. We should see how it can be made as a sacred and secret act